Hey everyone, welcome to the Secret Ingredient Podcast. I'm your host, Tom Weiler, and this is
Joel Siegel.
and we're with Culinary Vision Consulting. Today's topic is all about the difference between owners and managers in the restaurant industry. So, Joel, kind of give us the difference of what that is.
Yeah, so today, there's so many owners that are just locked down in the back of the house or front of house. Their focus is the day-to-day operations rather than the strategic long-term advancement of the restaurant. There's so many more important things that owners should and can be doing rather than just making sure your restaurant's working for the day. So, the first one, the big main difference of owner is they hold the financial and legal responsibilities compared to a general manager. Their goal is to achieve your P&L goals that the owner is setting for them. But once again, a lot of your owners are focused on the goals of the P&L rather than the long-term strategic of, building up to where not even just looking at this week or this month, but let's look 4, 5, 6 months ahead. Really, restaurant owners really should have been looking at Thanksgiving and Christmas 2 and 3 months ago, starting to plan that stuff out. And yeah, I'm talking to so many and they haven't even thought about it.
So, what do you think is the biggest reason for that?
I think a lot of it's just fear. I think a lot of it boils down to fear, where it's a fear of releasing the power off and allowing other people to have more responsibilities in the restaurant.
Okay. Do you feel like outside of the fear, do you feel like wouldn't you think that if they actually had the right manager in place, that it would alleviate that fear? So does it really start in the hiring process?
Yep, 100%. So a lot of restaurant managers, one, they don't think they have the capital behind to be able to hire a general manager. Two, they just it's almost like they like doing it because they know what to expect. And in the restaurant world, you never know what to expect. There's always going to be something that pops up, right? As part of owning a business that you don't expect. And so if they can do the day-to-day things that they know what to expect, it makes their life so much more easier. They don't have to have the worry and stuff, but then the back end then is now they don't have time to do Google reviews. They don't have time to do proper marketing or advertising because they're so bogged down in the trenches of just the day-to-day operations rather than hiring those people and training them to be able to, take some of that weight off their shoulders.
Okay, so that's great information. But I was victim of this when I first started doing barbecue. A lot of owners get stuck in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your advice to them to get them unstuck so that they can actually get out of the kitchen to work on their business?
Hire, hire, hire. In this industry, you are never done hiring. Unless you have 100% perfect staff, you need to be hiring, my friend. Once you have people hired that have the experience, and part of hiring is paying those people with experience the wages that they are worth. So once you have those people hired, that allows it to where you are allowed or you're able to then train them. And then slowly you start giving responsibilities. You find your star staff that is going to be your kitchen manager or your chef. And then you slowly start giving them more and more responsibilities like ordering. It could be scheduling the kitchen staff. And not even just kitchen, that goes on at the front of the house then too. You're finding that bartender, that's your lead bartender, that's maybe over your entire front of the house. So then they're scheduling for the front of house for you. They're doing the ordering for the front of house for you, but you're training them how to do this. It doesn't happen overnight. This is a 3-4 month project, sometimes 6-month project till you actually find the right staff, get them in place. But you have to start giving responsibilities to your staff so you're not living in your restaurant, still not getting the things done that an owner needs to get done.
So you talked about the importance of getting out of the kitchen, out of your business so that you can work on the business. But it's not just about working on the business, it's also about having that downtime to recharge. Can you kind of speak a little bit about the importance of that?
Yeah, so you as an owner, the whole responsibility of the restaurant falls on you. Unless you have a high-end GM who's treating every single day as if it's their money going out, you need to take time for yourself and recharge, whether that be even going out and getting a massage, or that be going to a sports game, or that be playing with your kids, taking your kids to a zoo, whatever that is that helps you just forget about the restaurant, the responsibilities you have going on there, and have fun and recharge. Because so many restaurant owners today are burnt out. And when you burn out, it shows to all of your staff, it shows to your customers, it shows on your menu, it'll show in your books. That's where you start going downhill and losing money. So we have to find a place to be able to go out and recharge and just have fun for a little bit, cut loose, forget about the restaurant, and really just go out and take that time for yourself.
Yeah, I remember you told me that early on. You're like, I love baseball, that. So you told me, like, just take a half hour for yourself, like, cut loose, do that thing that you really enjoy doing, whether it's a hobby, or anything like that, or family time. But I also feel like it's important to have just time to yourself and carving that time out. And I agree with you. I've been through burnout. I'm sure you've been through burnout at points in your career. People watching this have been through burnout. So it's important to do that. With regard, you had mentioned earlier about taking time to look at Google reviews and make responses, look ahead and stuff like that. What would be your what would be your advice to start getting that time within a window of a day? And obviously it's discipline, but are there any tips or anything like that that you can give that keep people disciplined and on track so that they make sure that they carve that time out? Because it's very easy to get distracted and go away from that.
Yeah, you have to schedule that in your schedule. Set an alarm on your phone that once that alarm goes off, it doesn't matter what you're doing, that's your time to act like an owner. That's your time to start doing the stuff that an owner should be doing, which is your Google reviews. That could be, looking over the inventory numbers that you just had. That could be the time that you're having meetings with companies for advertising and things like that. So you have to make that time. If you don't make that time, you're going to continue having a failing restaurant, or a restaurant that's just breaking even. Or, maybe you're out there saying, I'm making money, but then my question to you then is, are you burnt out? Do you feel like, you can't escape from the place, that you can't be with your family, you can't stop thinking about the place? And that's where I want to be able to get these small independent restaurant owners to be able to have a place where they can be out with their families, because now they've hired people that are in place where they can say, it's a Monday, it's the slowest day of the week, I'm taking the day off, and George, you're in charge. I've trained you up. You've watched over them for a few weeks. They can handle a kitchen. Maybe you have somebody in the front of the house. We'll call them Samantha. She's amazing up front. She knows how to deal with the customers if they're upset. Knows how to really work with George. And so the two of them are working really well together. That's time for you now to say, you know what? I need to have my space. I need to back out for a day. And let me tell you, there's probably going to be something that happens, but guess what? Your restaurant is going to survive, because now you have trained those people to take on these tasks and challenges as they come along. Just because I'm not at my business doesn't mean that it's going to run perfectly.
Right.
But what I love is when I'm not at my business, it'll run as if I'm still there.
Right.
And that's where you want to be. You want to be able to have it to a place where you can be gone and it's going to run as if you're still there. Because let me ask you this question. God forbid you were to get hit by a car, or you were to fall and break your ankle and have to have surgery. Who's going to run your restaurant at that time? If you don't have people set up right now that are trained to be able to take over in case of a crisis like that, you're kind of SOL at that point.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. It's very sound advice. We talk a lot about having the right staff in place. So, and we've talked a lot about having star staff. So what does that mean, having star staff, and what are your ideas about actually recruiting that? Because you can go through the interview process and people can sound really good in an interview and then on paper in their resume. But what are some of the qualities that you would have restaurant owners look for when they're trying to figure out that star staff, if they don't already have that in their own establishment?
The main thing is just you interview. You never stop interviewing. Actually, as a general manager, when I was running place, and not even just general manager, when I was director of operations, and I was over all the restaurants in Illinois. The company I was over, the franchise we had was over every restaurant in Illinois of this franchise group. I made all of my stores, the GMs would have one day a week, generally it was Wednesdays, from 2 to 3 p.m. was open interviews every single Wednesday, because you don't stop hiring. Because you're exactly right. You can have somebody that looks great on paper. The one thing I would always say is take the extra time and do reference checks, especially if it's somebody where you're going to pay more than just your minimum wage. If it's somebody that comes in saying, I've cooked for 25 years, I can run your kitchen on my own, don't take their word on it. Do at least 1 or 2 reference checks, not just friends, because a friend is going to say, oh yeah, that person's fantastic.
Right.
Get a business reference check. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the owner of the place. It could just be the person saying, hey, one of my managers here is fantastic. I have a great relationship with them. If you can talk to this person, call them and just talk to them and say, hey, they used you as a, as a business reference. What can you tell me about the person? And take that advice from them on what they say. I mean, they may say they suck, please take them and get them away from us,
Right.
or they may say, I'm really sad to see this person go. They're fantastic. So until you have every single employee on your staff that is a star employee, by star, I mean, you can't survive without that employee. So when I think of star staff, how I've always thought of them is, I see something different that they don't even recognize that they have. And every owner out there, I guarantee you that you know exactly what I'm talking about. You have to have somebody on your team, because you wouldn't be able to survive if you didn't. That you can say there is some great quality about them, and that's the one that you want to take. You want to really just put all of your time and effort into this person, that you can, all the time you have into this person, and really just mold them into being a little you. I mean, that's really what you're doing. And then once you have that person where you want them, then that's where you start promoting and making kitchen manager, assistant manager, whatever the case is that you're looking for. That's where you reward them with pay, because the last thing you want is to train that star staff and then you're paying them terrible and then they're out the door. So pay them what they're worth, and then find that next person as a star staff. But then what I like to do is take that star staff I just trained, I like to have them mentor other people, because one, that makes them feel like they have ownership in your restaurant. Then that'd be me as the owner, and you being a cook that I just promoted to be my restaurant or my kitchen manager. That'd be me saying, hey, I have so much faith in you, Tom, that I want you to really take Harry under your wing and train Harry up to be a little you. Now it's totally different for you now, because now you feel invested in the company. Where Harry came from, I have no idea.
I have no idea. But
now I have a Samantha, a George, and a Harry.
There we go. Do you have like any final thoughts that you want to share about, with the owners, or advice getting out of their business?
Yeah. Maybe not so much advice getting out. What I would really like to talk about really quick is how important being able to have that time to do marketing is. And I would like for you to talk about that, if you would, because you were an owner who did marketing for 20 plus years and didn't have time to do the marketing. And that's part of the reason why we're here. And that's not trying to sell any services, but that's part of the reason why we're here, is because we want to be able to help you guys. And so, we've actually built programs that are less than $1,000 a month, where we are taking their entire marketing basically over for them. So, can you talk a little bit about, one, because we've actually heard from business owners, they didn't even know how to review people on Google. What are some of those steps that they should really be taking as a business owner to help their marketing to really even start off?
Okay, well, I would say to start off, definitely, you really only have to schedule like one day a week. And I'm not saying the whole day. I'm saying like, let's say an hour at the most. Take the time to go to your Google My Business profile, or your Google profile that you have set up. Because if you're a restaurant business or any business that sells to consumers, that I know of, you get verified through Google. That's a great thing to do. So if you don't have that set up, I would highly recommend doing that. Um, and uh, once you have that set up and everything's 100% verified, that's where people go to Google to search for everything, um, and also Google Maps or Apple Maps or any of those resources when they're looking for places to go out to eat, or they're looking for any place that's going to have the next widget or gadget or something that they want to buy. They're going to Google it. If you take the time once a week to update, as simple as update photos of your food items, update photos of maybe some of your star staff members, the location, the exterior and interior location. Google will reward you for that if you engage in actually keeping your business profile updated. And then as far as the reviews go, they have a link that you can copy, and you can send that to your customers that you've already acquired in your database of emails in your point of sale system. Just say, hey, if we'd love to hear feedback from you, how we can improve, what you loved about it. If you can just take a moment and give us a review on Google, that would be great. Obviously, hopefully you have a lot more 5 stars than 2 stars, but it's a really great way for you to get engagement on that channel. So those are 2 things that you can really do. And then I would obviously say make sure that your hours of operation are consistent. If you say you're going to be open and it's on Google or Yelp or wherever, and then people show up and you're not open, well, that's a problem. And that's a negative on you. And people will even leave negative reviews on a site like that just because of those reasons, and they haven't even had a chance to step in and try your food or the environment or the atmosphere. So that's one thing on the Google side that you can do. And I would highly recommend it. It would probably take you, maybe 20 minutes to really do that. And if people do respond to, people do leave reviews, whether they're negative or positive. So if they're a positive review, thank them for doing that. Thank them for their review, and that you appreciate that they had such a great experience being there, and invite them back. And then for the negative ones, I've seen restaurants where they do a really bad job at it and get defensive, which is what you shouldn't do. And then there's some of them that are really great, and they say, okay, we're really sorry that you had such a poor experience at our establishment. That's not what we're about. And then they either give a phone number or a contact email or some form of contact to take it offline, so that they could hear the story better from the consumer standpoint and work on making amends to turn that around, because there's still an opportunity to turn that negative review into a positive review.
Because they can always change it too.
You can edit to a certain degree, and Google's very strict on the review side, which is I really appreciate, because then not everyone can just leave a review, but they have their processes for that. And then on the social media side, I think you just got to really figure out what social media channel fits best for your brand. So food, I would say Instagram and TikTok. Facebook is great too. Facebook, I have saved more for events. So if you do more of event type of things where you have events at your restaurant, whether it's live music or trivia or bingo or whatever that is, or you have a party event space, that's Facebook is good for that, and obviously for general posts. But for showcasing food and the video reels and stuff like that, TikTok and Instagram are very strong in that regards. And if you are a caterer specifically, don't leave out LinkedIn, because you can hit those corporate clients on LinkedIn. And if you showcase and show your expertise in that lane, you'll get some traction in a space that not everyone's really looking at or advertising in. So, but it's just about making engaging content. And what I mean by that is really just sharing your story of why you're in the restaurant industry, why you chose to start the restaurant, and sharing the behind the scenes of what you're doing and your why and the passion that you have for it. I see a lot of restaurant owners, all they post is, hey, it's Tuesday, we have happy hour from 2 to 6, and they repeat it every week and they get no engagement. Well, that's because everyone's doing that, and that doesn't really tell you anything much outside of that. But if you put a little bit more emphasis on the reasons why you're doing what you're doing, and what we call, really just documenting the journey of your restaurant, that's where you're going to start building a fan base. And it doesn't have to be complicated, it can be very simple. And intermix that with your specials, and you'll start to see more engagement in those areas. So those are just two. If you take an hour, maybe 2 hours a week, it could be on a Monday or a slower day. And if you get really good at it, you can schedule your posts in advance through the business suite and Facebook for Instagram and Facebook. So you could spend an hour and set your post for the entire week, and then you don't have to look at it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And with Google reviews, the other one is fakes. I see so many business owners that want to just attack people, say, "Oh, this is a fake one," or "This is a past employee."
Right.
It's the worst thing you can do, because as an outside customer, I'm going to read that and say, "I don't know that this is true."
Right.
So if you kind of treat them the exact same way as you would a negative, even though you know deep down it's a fake, kind of puts you up some, because at least then I'm reviewing it saying, "Oh, they're trying to make good on it." Everybody's, no one's perfect, and they're trying to make up on it. So one thing to kind of go along with what you're saying with like the LinkedIn and stuff, though, is make sure that you make time for yourself as an owner to be networking.
Yeah, that too.
Because networking is huge. Going to like the city chamber of commerce meetings, the business after hours, those are huge for you, especially if you want to do any kind of catering. I can't tell you how many times I got business off of going to the chamber's business after hours. Yep. And just networking, talking to people. I would take little menus with me and I would pass them out with my cards and stuff like that. And just talking to people about who you are, give them your story and stuff like that. That's huge to be able to do as a business owner. And you cannot miss doing those kind of things, because those are what's going to help build your company, the reputation of who you are.
Right.
So,
and I would also recommend like a really solid networking group, not one that's completely based on lead generation, but one that's based on relationship networking. And if you can get into a good group that of people there, then you have a small army of people that are advocating for you. So if they know somebody, they're referring you, and then you refer back. But it's not where you have to show up once a week with a list of referrals for people. It's more natural, more organic in that sense. So I would definitely, that's a great point. Yeah. Definitely that too. And make the time for that. Most of those meetings for those networking groups that meet weekly are in the morning, even before 8 a.m. And then the after hour stuff, I would definitely do that, and definitely check into your local chamber of commerce, because they have a huge membership base of businesses, and you never know who you're going to meet.
Yep. So as we wrap up this segment, my challenge to you today, this is my challenge for you: hire, train. Get yourself to where you're able to not be bogged down by the day-to-day business, and actually get out and do the stuff as an owner. Do your networking, do your Google reviews, start looking at your menus for 3, 4, 5 months from now, looking at your top 3 movers, your bottom 3 movers. Set yourself a deadline, whether that be, maybe you're in a good place right now. You say, "I think I can do this in 2 weeks." Maybe you're at a place where you say, "I really need to hire people, Joel. This is going to take me 3, 4 months." Whatever that's going to take you, set that timeline for yourself and try to hit it. Try to actually beat that timeline so you can actually really, one, help yourself get out and recharge and recoup that energy back and help with the burnout. And then 2, really help yourself to be able to market yourself and build your business.
Absolutely. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you love this content or like this content, hit the subscribe button, and we hope to see you in the next episode.